Good morning and welcome to the Casson Academy. In this session, we're going to talk about campaign names. How do we name our campaign effectively so that later on, when we're looking for something within our account, it's easy for us to filter by campaign name. Of course, this could also be an ad group name, and the same methods apply to that name. So what you don't want to do is ever call something campaign 1 or something like that, or something that's not descriptive. It's really important that we give our campaigns a good name. So I've done most of the work for you, and here you can see that I've created a spreadsheet which helps you to name your campaigns effectively. So here, the first thing that you want to see is what network am I targeting. So under the network section, if I'm targeting a search campaign, I might do something like S-. If it's a display campaign, D-. If it's a video campaign, and so on and so on. If it's a merchant campaign, M-. I'm not going to use S-, in other words shopping, for my merchant because S- already exists. You want to try not to duplicate your naming convention anywhere. So I'm going to keep it as something unique, M- for my merchant, and I wouldn't use S- again. Something else that makes the campaign unique is the location in which it is targeting. So if I am targeting South Africa, I might do ZA-. If I'm targeting Japan, I might say JP-, and so on and so on. If at any time I am targeting international, I might use INT. And it's not a good idea to ever target everyone, but it is there as an option. The next thing I want to do is I want to differentiate if it is a brand campaign or a generic campaign. So I'm going to use G- for generic and B- for brand. Generic meaning that that campaign doesn't contain any of my brand keywords in it, and B- meaning that the campaign has my actual brand keywords in it or is targeting my brand, therefore I use B-. Something else that you always want to do is make sure that you have a topic. So if this is for my AdWords training campaign, I would say AdWords training, and so on and so on. So you can see the green ones here are the ones that are most used. They're the mandatory fields. And then the gray ones I will mention a little bit later. They're the more advanced fields that you want to use for naming. So now we simply take the name, we select the row, Control C, we go across to our campaign, we paste it into the box, and we remove all the spaces. Now I can see that it's a search campaign in South Africa for generic AdWords training. So right away, just by reading the name, I can tell you what that campaign is about. So we're going to switch to an account that's been running a while, and you can see an example of some of the ones that I've used in the past. Search campaign in Gauteng targeting AdWords training. This one targets SEO training, SEO services, AdWords services, and so on. When you get to an ad group level, the same applies. But now these are my variations, still targeting the same page, but now this is the AdWords training keywords, the AdWords courses keywords, the PPC training keywords, the AdWords learning keywords, and the AdWords workshop keywords. So you can get a good indication just from reading the name what this campaign is about. Now we could get more advanced. In other words, you can get a little bit more complicated on your naming structure. One thing is that the type of targeting you're doing. So if you're using a remarketing list, you might want to mark it with an RM. If you have dynamic search ads, you could use DSA. If you have engagement ads or something like that for display, you can use ENG, and so on and so on. But just remember, I can't use ENG for English here because I've used it as an ENG for engagement ads over here. Something else that's quite unique is scheduling. So if I'm targeting only in the evenings, I might want to mark it with an eve, or only during traffic, which is one of my favorite targeting types, TRF as an example. If at any time your campaign targets a different device, you can start to mention it. In other words, a mobile only campaign. If your campaign targets a different language, like Afrikaans, I might want to mention that language. And then you have bidding types. So if it is a CPC campaign, you might want to mention it, a CPA bidding type. So you don't have to go into the campaign to figure out what settings you used at that time. And you also don't have to go down in the columns to figure out what you used. Okay. So these are the more advanced versions. So if I copy this now, I know it's a search campaign in South Africa. It's generic with a remarketing list in the evening on a mobile device in Afrikaans, and it's on the CPC network, and it's targeting AdWords training. So yes, they can get very long and very complicated, but once you know your naming conventions, they are a lifesaver. So when you use reporting software like Data Studio and you want to sort everything by your location, you can even do it within your AdWords account. You sort by your naming convention and you'll get all your campaigns that apply to that naming convention coming up. So it's just an easy way later on. It's not so bad when you have 5 campaigns, but when you have 500 campaigns, it's an absolute lifesaver. So I hope this is a easy tip for you. This document here that you see, the spreadsheet, is available in the link below in the video, so you can get straight to this. And I hope you enjoyed the session. See you next time.